So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Q&A. You'll notice that it's a little bit of a change of scenery here at the new villa here in Cape Town. I think, yeah, it should be on my main channel. The villa tour should be live already, so you can check that out. Anyways, as always, if you want to get your question answered, all you have to do is go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification because I am sporadic as hell when it comes to when I actually go ahead and do these Q&As or do the posts asking questions for it. So yeah, you gotta be pretty on the ball, and the only way you can do that is if you are part of the notification squad. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Question number one is best way for beginners to find eCom clients. Now there's a whole host of ways to do it, some which are a lot more automated, some which are a little bit more manual intensive. I am very old school when it comes to my outreach. I guess that's because, to be honest, I only bring in around 10% of my clients through outreach, 80% come in through the ads that I run for my agency, the other 10% are referrals. So for me, when I'm doing outreach, it's this very organic thing. But last year I did have 2 appointment setters, and I'm about to rehire another appointment setter in the next couple days actually. So I'm familiar with all the different methods out there. You can use everything from my.ip, I think it's myips.com. It's actually my.ips. But anyways, you can use a tool like that, or in my opinion, just the easiest place to start. And to be honest, this applies if you're working with an e-commerce brand, as well as the different sub niches within them. So for example, if you're working with a clothing line, this will work very, very well as well. Go on Instagram, find a brand like your ideal client, and then from there, you can go ahead and you can press that little triangle thing, and it basically pops open a bunch of different suggested pages, and you can start just scrolling through those. And yeah, as I said, in my opinion, that is by far the easiest way. The other cool thing with that is, for me, when I'm doing lead sourcing, I'm kind of scraping a bunch of different information from a bunch of different places. When you're doing this Instagram method, obviously you've got a bunch of different suggested Instagram accounts similar to the one that you, for example, just followed. So as I said, find your ideal client. But not only that, you can see how many followers they have, you can see the quality of their content, the sort of engagement, and that can give you a really good gauge and a really good barometer as to whether they could be a good client. For example, if you're running ads for an e-commerce clothing line and they only have 2,000 followers, then realistically, it's not gonna be a good option for you to charge them $2,500 a month service fee. So there are many ways to skin a cat, but I would say that is by far the easiest way to go about it. Next question is, what do you think of teenagers in high school trying to start SMMA, and how can they approach it? Well, I was a teenager in high school starting an SMMA. I actually started my agency when I was 16. And yeah, my routine would basically consist of waking up after getting like probably 3-4 hours of sleep, which I don't recommend, but you know, I was trying to juggle school. Well, I wasn't really juggling school, I just had to physically be in school. And then in any downtime I had, I was trying to build my agency. At that time, I had a creative agency, so I was trying to learn and improve my video, photo, editing skills. I was reaching out to clients. At that time, I was sending proposals. I was going to the gym, I was reading a book a week. You know, I was trying to juggle all these things. So as I said, my routine basically consisted of waking up, going to school, and my school basically there was you were allowed to use your computer to take notes and like kind of organize everything. So I would be on my computer, obviously not taking notes on class. I will be on my computer lead sourcing, looking up a bunch of different businesses that I could reach out to, maybe writing up a proposal for a client, maybe editing some photos, a video. Basically anything that didn't involve school. That was just me personally. I'm not telling you what to do. And then when I got home, once again, it was the same thing. It was me doing my personal work. It's with school, I always did just the amount where I wasn't gonna get expelled, but where I was still getting in trouble. Yeah, I basically did, especially like my last 3-4 months in school where I knew for a fact I was gonna drop out. Like, I just had to get to a point where I had enough clients in order to make it happen. And once again, I really do not recommend anyone drops out of high school. It was just my situation was a little different with having to take care of my mom. I'd already built a successful agency, and I told myself if I get to a certain point with my agency where I can cover my monthly expenses ×3, then I will do it. So anyways, my point is, how do you manage it? Well, all you do is, once again, wake up, go to school, don't piss your parents off, don't piss your teachers off like I did. Once again, I was a very rebellious kid. Do your work, do as much as you need to, as I said, not to piss anyone off. And then in your free time, lead source, reach out to clients, and then eventually once you get a client, deliver the services or get a contractor to deliver them for you for a per month, per client fee. So yeah, it's not rocket science. Whether you have a job, whether you're in college, whether you're in high school, it doesn't matter. You can't just totally disregard what you have and the responsibilities that you have at the time. You need to play it smart. And another thing, I don't recommend anyone, once they get 1 or 2 clients from their agency, drop out of school or drop out of college or leave their job. I think you need a decent track record of having an agency. You need to prove it to yourself. And once you're at a point where it is such a no-brainer that you can drop out of college, leave your job. I don't recommend dropping out of school to anyone, by the way. So in my opinion, I don't care if you're making 20, 30K a month, just finish high school. It's worth it. But anyways, my point is fulfill your responsibilities for what you're currently doing, and every other waking moment that you have, a minute in the day, focus on this other thing. Next question is, at what point did you start focusing on your passion businesses? Well, I guess it kind of depends what you constitute as a passion business. It's no secret that IAG Media, my advertising agency, it's my cash cow. It's my lifestyle business. Now with IAG Media, I have margins of anywhere between 75 and 85%. Keep in mind that I have a full-time team member who's been working with me for 2 years, and I literally, today, am presenting the job offer. I've just brought on another performance marketer. So now my agency is me, Danny, who's now moving into CMO role and managing a lot of the team, including the appointment setter that I'm about to bring on. But once again, that's not a full-time salary. There's a new performance marketer whose name I will not mention yet. I'll mention in maybe a few weeks or a few months. And then there's 30% of Kieran's time. The other 70% is spent on being the product manager for Grow Your Agency. So my point is, my margins could be a lot higher if I didn't have the team that I do have on board. But on any given month, it's between 75 and 85%. Also, it's largely dependent on how much cold advertising we're doing that month. This year, I have not spent a penny on cold ads for the agency, whereas last year I spent multiple 5 figures on it.
Oh, okay, goddamn.
So yeah, with my agency, I would never let it get below 65%. To me, that's my FU money business. That's the thing that pays for my lifestyle, it pays for my watches, it pays for any of the nice clothes I have, for any of the experiences I have. Like, that's the business that gives me the confidence to then go ahead and do something like GrowYourAgency.com. Now with GrowYourAgency.com, the margins are anywhere between 25 and 35%. And I think that really confuses a lot of people, because they're like, oh, there's no cost of delivery. Like, surely the margins are just 100%. And it's like, well, no, it's not cheap to have 6 full-time staff, as well as multiple service providers, as well as contractors, as well as just even software is $3,000 just for GrowYourAgency.com. So if I look at GrowYourAgency.com, as I said, I've got staff costs of anywhere between 30 and 35,000 pounds a month. I have very, very, very good talent at both companies. And in that pot, there's also my sales division at GrowYourAgency.com, and they're getting paid commission and they're getting paid very well. But that's outside of the fixed staff costs. Then there's things like the Grow Your Agency party. I spent 20,000 on the Grow Your Agency party in October, and usually if someone's spending that amount of money, it's because they're upselling something at the end of it. No, that was literally just 20 grand I spent on a party for the Grow Your Agency students. We had 150 spots this year. I want to do a lot more spaces. But once again, the only thing I sold there was early prototypes of Gadzhi, my clothing line. And once again, all that money went to charity anyways. So there's stuff like that. Even just things like, you got to look at buying a domain like GrowYourAgency.com is not cheap. You got to look at the philanthropy I'm doing in Nepal. It's not cheap to literally from the ground up pay for all the workers and all the infrastructure to make sure 1,000 kids get to wake up this year and get a real education. To build a 6 to 8 classroom full school with supplies, once again, it's not cheap, guys. So to be honest, I think last year Grow Your Agency probably had margins of closer to around 20%. And this year it's gone up a little because our revenue has also gone up this year. But I'm doing something this year that will ensure that I don't think I'm gonna make money from GrowYourAgency.com for probably 2-3 years, to be honest, any profit at all. But I am about to build something that has never been built before. And it's actually one of the other questions that I'm gonna be touching on. But in the next 2-3 years, I don't think I'm gonna make any money from GrowYourAgency.com, or at least any profit. But in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, you guys know that my mission is to reform the education system. There's a big, and this is also in, from 2018 to 2019. From 2018, to be honest, like GrowYourAgency.com wasn't even GrowYourAgency.com, it was just my courses, and it was a course business. 2019, I turned it into a real fucking education company. And not only a real online education company with things that a real company needs to have: a product manager, a support lead, infrastructure, an incredible product, a real brand outside of myself. And not only did I do that, obviously everything that I did in Nepal, which ties into the full circle approach that I like to have at GrowYourAgency.com, which is give people the best online education possible if they want to start a business and grow it, or if they're an existing agency owner and they want to scale up, do that and then take profits from that and use that to give back to the people who don't have a seat at the table. And once again, have this sort of flywheel effect that happens from it. So I did that in 2019. And also I took, you know, the old program, 6-figure SMA, and turned it into agency incubator, which is just like, you know, to be honest, I don't need to say anything about agency incubator. You guys can go to the sales page and, you know, I have a 15-minute demo on there. So that's the beautiful thing. When you know that you've got the best product in the market, hands down, you're not afraid to rub it in and you know, show it off. So I love showing off that thing because I know that there's nothing that comes close. And to be honest, really, agency incubator set the precedent. Like it's the gold standard. And to be honest, there's nothing else in the market that is better than it and has produced better student results. But at the end of the day, as much as I hate it, that can still kind of come down to opinion. What I'm doing in 2020, conversation is over. It's not about opinions, it'll be based on fact. We will be doing something that has never been done before. They will cost millions for someone else to replicate. As I said, it's not a cheap endeavor. And even if someone had millions to spend on it, they just don't have the talent or the firepower to even come close to it. You'd have to spend probably 4 years hiring and recruiting just to get the talent, and then pair that with a few million, and then potentially you could come close to what we're about to come out with. So yeah, you know, I guess it totally depends on the way you want to run your business. If I ran GrowYourAgency.com like a course business, easily I could have 70% margins. As I said, because I run it like an actual education company with proper staff, I spend around 30,000 pounds a month on advertising. Because I have a real infrastructure and I have a real brand, and I reinvest pretty much everything into R&D, research and development, into actually building something, which I don't want to talk about too much, but as I said, is going to be monumental. If I look at 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, to be honest, I don't think I'm gonna make any money from GrowYourAgency. Like profit, not gonna make any. But I don't care, because as you said, like for me, that is my legacy business. Like guys, at the end of the day, if I lay on my deathbed, and I'm not gonna be proud of the fact that, oh, I managed to scale IAG Media, my advertising agency, to 500K a month profit. That's not a legacy that I wanna leave, whereas GrowYourAgency.com is my legacy business. It's my blood-sucking leech because of how much resources and effort it takes up, but that is my legacy business. And the only reason I'm able to do it is because of my agency. And once again, on my deathbed, I won't be thinking, oh, I'm so happy that I built my, I managed to scale IAG Media to 500K a month profit, but I'm gonna sit on my deathbed and go, man, I'm so happy that I was able to retire my mom at 19. I'm so grateful for all those incredible experiences that I had with my friends abroad. I'm so thrilled that I was able to see everything that life was able to offer. And that is only possible because of IAG Media. So yeah, those are my two main businesses. Then I've got Gadzhi, my e-commerce clothing line. And within the next 12 months, the goal is to scale that to 7 figures in rev. And when it comes to margins, that business is operating around a 50% margin at the moment. We have really, really good infrastructure and logistics in place to make that possible. But with Gadzhi, I don't do any advertising. Like literally like 2 days ago, I put up the first ever retargeting ad. No advertising, because I just know it does well organically. With that brand, I'd love to get it past like making 100K a year and get it to a point where it's making $1 million a year in revenue. And once again, that is revenue, that's not profit. And actually, I've just brought on another new hire specifically for Gadzhi, and her role is to be managing micro and macro influencers. We're gonna be spending a good amount on influencer promotions, how to talk with the team, whether, you know, because here's the thing, like advertising is our bread and butter. I could scale that thing up to 100, 150K a month within like 2 months. That's not an issue for me, but like, I don't think that builds brand equity. And with Gadzhi, I would love to build brand equity. And I would love to actually build something tangible where really the goal with all of these businesses that you'll start to know is like GrowYourAgency.com, Gadzhi, as well as IAG Media. And right now with IAG Media, I'm also looking to do a little rebrand with that. Half of my team loves it. The other half is like, no, I love the fact that like IAG Media is still so like, it's so, it's so endearing because, you know, it was my original agency name, and like we don't even do media anymore. So IAG Media doesn't even make sense. Like maybe like IAG advertising, but like IAG Media makes no sense whatsoever. But anyways, my point is with all these brands, like 10, 15, 20, 25 years down the line, they're gonna be disconnected from me. Like I want these to be standalone businesses. But anyways, back to my point, I am only able to focus on Gadzhi and GrowYourAgency, or not focus, but like give it some time, because of IAG Media. And I think sometimes I even forget that. And sometimes I kind of have to kick myself and just remember how lucky I am to have my agency, which, as I said, gives me the breathing room and just gives me the ability and the confidence to go, okay, I can focus on the stuff that realistically in the next 2, 3, 4 years don't bring me anything. But 5, 10, 15 years down the line, those could be massive brands. So for me, my agency will always serve that role for me, which is, to be honest, it's not the business that like I spend every waking hour thinking about. For me, I just built a machine with it, and that machine lets me enjoy the rest of my life. And yeah, with IAG Media, it's super exciting. As I said, we brought on a new performance marketer. So by the end of the year, we're trying to get to 150K a month profit consistently. I've hit 100K months before profit, but once again, but I can't sit here and say that it's consistently. So we've actually got a new agency website. It might actually be out by the time that this video goes up. Brought on the new performance marketer. I've actually changed up the sales system. I've closed the past 4 out of 4 clients. Once again, you would have seen 3 of those in a vlog. In 24 hours, I closed 3 clients. And actually yesterday, I closed another one after the weekend. So yeah, you know, this new sales system is working really, really well for us. We're at a point right now where we're just focusing on getting 30 demos a month. So potential prospects now do a 15-minute demo with Danny. And then from those 30 demos, we get around 8 to 10 follow-up calls directly with me. Actually, right now, it's a much higher percentage, but I'm just thinking more long-term. We're gonna be turning back on cold ads again soon. And yeah, now that we have more capacity, I think much more of a streamlined sales process, now that we have a new agency website, 150K a month profit, you know, for me is not very tough, to be honest. So next question is, what tools do you use to push through on days when you're tired? So today is one of them. I don't know if you can see it in my facial expression. I'm quite tired today because there's been an alcohol ban in South Africa for 2 months. So I haven't had, I think for 2.5 months, I haven't had a sip of alcohol. And like, to be honest, I'm not a big drinker, but I do enjoy the occasional glass of red wine. I say occasional, definitely once a week, a nice glass of red.
Who doesn't like to have a drink every once in a while?
And yes, I know that it's not 100% optimized, and you know, not, and you know, it will lead to some sleep debt and this and that. Like guys, I know, but at the end of the day, you still need to live life. Like you guys know, I don't prescribe to the whole hustle 16 hours a day and, you know, have no life and just be a slave to your business. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I got into business so my business can work for me, not the other way around. Anyways, yesterday, finally managed to get a bottle of wine, and I sat in the office. As I said, if you guys have seen the vlog, then you would see there's a separate entire wing of the like, this place really is a compound. There's a separate wing, so the office is like looks over the pool and the hills, and it's amazing. But anyways, I sat in there listening to some Etta James, some Otis Redding, and I ended up drinking a lot of wine last night. And obviously, you know what that does to your sleep. So it's funny that you asked that question, because today is one of those days. For me, if I'm operating on low sleep or I'm tired, still wake up at the same time. Whatever it is you need to still execute on your to-do. But the other thing that's helpful is if you know the night prior that you're gonna be on low sleep, or maybe you're going out with some friends, or you're gonna have some drinks, and you know that you're not gonna be at your best the next day, then auto-regulate, you know? Go ahead and shift the amount of workload that you have for that day. So I knew last night that today wouldn't be the best of days. That's why I'm doing easier work. For example, like filming this Q&A. Guys, to be honest, I don't consider filming like work. Like in my mind, when I think about like my work day, if I think about YouTube, I don't put that in the pile of like, okay, these are the amount of hours I did today. So yeah, I'm doing this, and I'm filming 2 more other videos because, as I said, I need a low footprint day. I'm also just making some amendments to the IAG Media website. I'm doing a sales training. Danny and I, we're doing some role play actually, because as I said, we've got a new sales process for the agency. So Danny and I are gonna do a role play. We're also gonna jump on the phone with Max and Caden, who, as you guys know, are my student success managers at GrowYourAgency.com. And once again, we're just gonna do some role playing. Apart from that, I've got the call with the new IAG Media hire, just basically giving him the final job offer. My point is, I set the night before, I knew that today would be a low footprint day, so I set my schedule accordingly. But now that today is actually here, once again, I woke up, I did everything the same. And for me, the best thing you can do is just push through it in the morning, and then after lunch, try to hit a workout or do some yoga. So after today, lunch, usually I would do a workout. Usually I would do some sort of outside / home workout, but it's actually raining today, which it never does in Cape Town. So I'm gonna do some yoga and then have a cold shower, meditate. And for me, if you do that middle of the day, it almost resets you. It resets your energy levels entirely. Apart from that, the other things that you can do is apple cider vinegar. That'll give you an almost instantaneous shot of energy. The other thing that you can do is, if you do intermittent fasting and you know you're pretty fat adaptive, you can literally just like take a swig of coconut oil and just shoot it down. As I said, if you're fat adaptive, then you'll actually get a big hit of energy from that. And yeah, all I can say is, look, if you're tired or you know that it's gonna be a slow day the next day, just auto-regulate and set accordingly. Go through your morning routine, and somewhere after you eat lunch, do some sort of exercise or something to get out. Also, just leaving the house and going for a walk and getting fresh air, that is one of the best things that I've seen. But all I can say is, for me personally, it's about getting it done no matter what, having something around the lunchtime. So let's say I'm in London, and in London I actually work out first thing in the morning, because obviously, it's pre everything that's going on, and that's just my routine there. In London, I'll wake up, I'll go to the gym, still go through my morning routine, and then at lunchtime, I will go for a long walk, meditate, and then get back to work, and usually that helps as well. Or I might potentially have a cold shower. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Next question is, when do you tell your clients your service is 3 months minimum? After they pay for first month or before? What is the perfect time and way to inform them about it to ensure the best result? So the way that you tell them is right after they say yes. So you'll pitch your service price, they'll say yes, I wanna move forward, and you go, amazing, that's awesome news. And then you go, as you probably know, industry standard is a 12-month or 6-month contracts, but I don't like to handcuff my clients. So we only do a 3-month minimum, and then from there it's a rolling month by month. You need to understand that you've just gotten the biggest commitment from them. They've said yes. So then, you talking about a 3-month minimum, and then from there rolling month by month, that is more of a micro commitment after the big commitment. Plus, you've talked about industry standard, how it's like 12-month, how it's 6-month, which, to be honest, as I said, at the big agencies, it actually is. And you've kind of stretched their perception. So when you talk about 12 or 6 months, and then you bring it down to 3 sounds totally reasonable. So that's what I do with clients that I sign on a 3-month minimum. Now, out of the last, 4 out of the 4 last clients that I signed, one was a 6-month minimum, one was a 5-month minimum, one was a 5-month minimum, and then one was a 6-month minimum. So I said it prior, like I pitched the price and then said with a 5-month minimum, with a 6-month minimum. This year I've been experimenting a lot with the agency with basically different price points, different minimums, so lower price points, different minimum terms. So yeah, if it's a 3-month minimum, then just say the price, they'll say yes. And then once again, at that point, then you stretch their expectation, and then you get the little micro commitment after the big commitment of them saying, yes, I want to work with you, of, okay, it's a 3-month minimum, and then from there rolling month by month. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the Q&A. As I said, if you want to get your question answered, make sure that you subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you're looking to build a 6-figure agency, not something that is super flashy or super sexy, but a business that just gets it done, not this trick or this hack or whatever, just a real business that month on month is consistent, and a real business that you will have for years and years. I'm coming up to my 4th anniversary of having an agency this year. Then go ahead and book in a call with Caden, who's our student success manager here at GrowYourAgency.com. Basically, his entire role is just making sure the new students are getting integrated as well as they possibly could be, are fitting into the community, and also to look for people who are potentially a good fit to become agency incubator students. So make sure you go ahead and book in that free complimentary call with him. And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys in the next one.